Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's edition of what used to be the Ties Network series. So that's the Imo Economy series. Today, it's become the One Kindred, One Business Idea series. So it's our pleasure to welcome you today, and hopefully we'll explore very interesting perspectives to this idea of one kindred, one business. And what we're trying to do here is to ensure that every part of Imo State is carried along in the economic development occurring in the state. That way we all work together, because an African proverb says, if you want to walk fast, walk alone. But if you want to walk far, walk with others. And this also ties into the spirit of the Sustainable Development Goal, or the Sustainable Development Goals agenda, which is the agenda of the United Nations. And the mantra is, leave no one behind. So that's exactly what we are trying to do in Imo State, by ensuring that the economic benefits of the states are shared in ways that would be of benefit to all Imo citizens. So this program is brought to you by the Office of the Chief Economic Advisor to the government of Imo State, under the leadership of Senator Hope Uzodinma. My name is Kenneth Amechi, and I'm a professor of business and sustainable development at the University of Edinburgh in Scotland, United Kingdom. I also hold a chair in sustainable finance at the European University Institute in Florence, Italy, and I'm the Chief Economic Advisor to the Imo State government, a job I do on a part-time basis. So today is the first edition of the One Kindred, One Business Initiative series, and I have the pleasure of welcoming very interesting panelists who will take us through this idea, what they think the potentials the idea holds, and also how to implement the idea in practice. So permit me then to invite Mr. Chinedu Eluwa to introduce himself and tell us what he does.
Thank you, my prof. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Mr. Chinedu Eluwa, and I am the founder and CEO of the Portable Farm, where we breed and sell grass cutters. Okay, grass cutters are agricultural pests that we have been able to domesticate and maximize their economic values. Ideally, when you go to your farm to harvest things that you planted, sometimes you see your cassavas, your potatoes, your corn being consumed by grass cutters. Okay, what farmers have simply done is to simply bring in these grass cutters. In Igbo, we call it inchi. Is to bring in these grass cutters into our houses and domesticate them. So rather than engaging in bush burning in order to catch grass cutters and consume or sell, we simply farm them in our backyard and make good money doing that. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here.
Okay, great. Thank you, Chinedu. So do you want to tell us more about your business then? So yes, you're in the business of grass cutter, right? That's Inchi. Yeah. How does it work?
Okay, grass cutter, Inchi, breeding grass cutters is simply domesticating grass cutters for economic benefits. You simply learn how to breed and handle grass cutters. That is the 3 ways to start a grass cutter farm. You learn how to breed and handle grass cutters. You learn how to build an appropriate cage for them. Once you're done building an appropriate cage for them, you simply purchase grass cutter breeding stocks and stock. Okay, you can learn how to breed and handle grass cutters from videos, by doing on-site trainings, by reading books. Okay, once you're done, you simply build cages for grass cutters. You can build your cages using wood, but grass cutters eat wood, but you have to build it with a kind of technique that will discourage them from chewing the wood. Okay, you can also build their cages with iron mesh and iron, and you can also build their cage with concrete. These are the 3 ways to build your grass cutter houses. Once you have built your grass cutter house, simply buy grass cutters from farmers or from hunters, stock, and start breeding. It's as simple as that, my prof. As simple as that.
Okay, but why would you encourage anyone to go into this business? So let's
Wow.
assume I don't have a job and the minimum
Yeah.
wage in government today is about 30,000 naira, right? So I need something better than 30,000 naira to take me off the labor market in terms of looking for government jobs. So what do you think would encourage anyone to consider the grass cutter business?
I think my story should encourage anyone to do that. Here is how I got into the grass cutter farming industry. When I was serving at Kind Comprehensive School at Boloronduro in Ondo State, I wanted to start a business that would aid me sustain my income. I was earning 9,975 naira then from my NYSC Alawi. I talked to a fellow corps member who happened to study agri-economics, and he referred me to FRAIN, Forestry Research Institute of Nigeria, Ibadan. When I got there, I looked around and saw other agro businesses. I saw snail farming, I saw mushroom farming, and I saw grass cutter and chi. I was like, wow, I have way far. You know, after 1 year, I went for a training and started my grass cutter farm. I've done this for 11 years now. I started my grass cutter farm on the 20th of March, 2012. And thus far, grass cutter farming has paid my bills. With my grass cutter funds, I got married. With my grass cutter funds, I've been taking care of my family, which have 2 awesome boys. Grass cutter farming projected me, just like the Bible says, have feared now a man diligent in his work. He will sit before kings. Grass cutter farming put me before Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State in 2016. He saw me on Facebook where I was raising my grass cutter, and he called me, and I set up his farm. Okay, the profits inherent in grass cutter farming is amazing. Imagine a colony of grass cutter made up of 1 male and 4 females can sell for as much as 100,000 to 150,000 naira prof. Imagine a youth corps member who finished his service, starts a grass cutter farm, and starts making money from selling grass cutter breeding stock, selling grass cutter table size, selling grass cutter books. I have a book I wrote on grass cutter farming. You know, making money from selling books on grass cutter farming, doing trainings, on the farm training and online trainings for people who cannot come. There is a myriad of opportunities and income streams that one can generate from grass cutter farming. So anybody thinking of starting a grass cutter farm is an ideal opportunity for each and every one. But I don't need a paid employment at the moment. At the moment, I do not need a paid employment. I think what I need is more support in what I am doing. I've been here for 11 years, sir, and it has been.
But where are you based? Where are you based?
I'm based in Onitsha. I stay at Onitsha, Anambra State.
Stay at Onitsha. Okay.
Yes.
So what is the demand like? So people who are, because for me to go into this, I need to be sure that it's a profitable business.
Okay.
So what is the demand like? And how much do you think an average person or a startup can make in a month?
Okay. There are 2 categories of people who buy grass cutters. One category buy for consumption. The other category buy for breeding. Now, the demand where my business is focused on is on the breeders, people who buy to breed. Ideally, in a year, we do a turnover of over 7 figures in a year. Just selling breeding stocks, 1 male, 4 females to breeders, to farmers, to researchers. Then come over to the angle of table size grass cutters, people who buy to consume. Now, in a month, we do over 30 to 40 table size grass cutters for sale. And these go for around 7,500, 10,000 naira, and 15,000 naira. So anybody who wants to start a grass cutter farm, you have to first of all decide, where do I focus my attention? Do I focus my attention on people who buy to eat, or do I focus my attention on people who buy to breed? Whichever one you focus your attention, you are going to generate an amazing stream of income from it.
Okay, but how long does this take? Because sometimes we hear these very exciting stories, right? Because remember, the idea here is to motivate people to consider these opportunities. So, but how long will it take from start to when you start making money? So is it a 1-year project, or is it a 2-month project that would help you make that money?
Okay, as a starter, grass cutters become sexually matured from 6 months. Okay, they carry their babies for 5 months, and they give birth to between 1 and 15 2 times in a year. Now, if you start your grass cutter farming business, ideally you should not be looking to generate profit from selling them either for table size or for breeding within the next 8 months to 1 year. But you can also make money from teaching people how to train these animals. Let's assume, my prof, you want to start a grass cutter farm. My animals are not yet ready for sale. And you visit my farm, you will pay for training, which ranges for between 10,000 naira and 20,000 naira for a day training. So while I make money training you, and you want to buy, you have come to my farm, you've seen my animals, you've seen that they are not ready. I can also make money by supplying you those animals. I'll simply look to one of my colleagues who have these animals for sale. I will buy from him and he'll pay me a compensation, a commission. Okay, so there are other ways to make money before your grass cutters begin to litter.
Okay, so what you're saying that there are different avenues to make money. So you can do consulting, you can do training, you can also make money from the grass cutter itself.
Exactly.
But if I want to start this grass cutter business today, how much do you think I need to do so? How much would be reasonable? Yeah.
It depends on how many colonies the starter can afford to start with. Like I said, a colony of winners range from between 100,000 and 150,000. Let's
you want to explain what a colony means so that any person listening can understand. Yeah.
Okay, a colony or a family of grass cutter is made up of 1 male and 4 female grass cutters. In the wild, grass cutters have been known to live with a harem of 1 to 6 females. Okay, in the wild, they are polygamous animals. So when we bring them into the farm to domesticate them, we make them 1 male and 4 female instead of extending it to 6. So that is what a colony or a family means. A colony means a group of grass cutters.
Okay. So there you need 5 from the look of things.
You need 5, 1 male and 4 females.
Okay, how much would that cost? Yeah, to get.
Like I said, 100,000 between 100,000 and 150,000 naira. I sell 145,000 naira for 1 colony. 1 male and 4 females.
But that's not all. This is just about the cost of the grass cutter. But what about putting the other things, is the infrastructure around it?
I'm coming to that. The basic things you need to start a grass cutter farm: 1, the breeding stock, which I just gave you the price. 2, the housing. Okay. When it comes to the housing, you can either house them with wooden cages. Wooden cages are cheap to make. With 50,000 naira or below 50,000 naira, you can make a wooden cage that can contain 2 colonies of grass cutters. With then apart from that wooden cage, you can make iron cages. This can range between 50 and 70,000 naira to house 2 colonies of grass cutters. Then the concrete cage, which is cheaper to make, okay, with one bag of cement and a trip of 2 or 3 bags of sand, you can make cages for grass cutters that can house 2 colonies of grass cutters. So all in all, we'll be looking at between 100,000 and let's say 300 or 350,000 naira to house 1 or 2 colonies of grass cutters, depending on how many colonies the person is starting with. These are the 2 basic things you spend money on. When it comes to feeding them, you don't spend much money because they are herbivores. Potato. They basically feed on grasses, elephant grass, guinea grass, sugar cane. These are things you can source around you without spending money.
Okay. So in other words, we are looking at, say, if you have 500,000 naira, for the sake of argument, okay, you can start. Is that correct?
Yes, you can. You can start with at least 3 colonies.
Okay, with 500,000 naira. So yes, this is very important because we need to come back to the essence of this conversation, which is about one kindred, one business. Yeah. So it could be that one person may not have the entire 500,000 to start this business.
Exactly.
Do you see the possibility of kindreds? And kindreds here, I don't just mean blood related families. It can also be people who share the same kindred spirit. It could be old boys association, old girls association, or any sort of loose organization that would like to come together to create a business. Do you see the possibility of people joining hands together to raise this 500,000 naira you talked about and start a business?
Of course, an ideal way it could work. Let's assume 10 people, be they cooperative, be they homeowner, be they alumni. Let's say they come together, they decide that they want to start a grass cutter farming business. Okay, they can simply make this levy themselves, contribute this money. One of them can donate a space. If he has a space in his house, he can donate a space where they can use to house the animals. Another person can volunteer to be cutting the grasses for the animals. Another person can volunteer to be taking care of the animals in terms of medications and the rest. This is a co-owned stuff that can work without stress.
Okay, brilliant. Let me bring in my co-moderator, Dr. Jude Nzako.
Well, thank you, Prof. Now, I just wanted to know, I came in a bit late there and I heard 6 months. It takes about 6 months for harvest to take place. And also, it will cost about 500,000 for about 5 colonies. Are there challenges that interested parties should be aware at this stage? Because before they go into it, there must be some downside to the business. Is it all good side, good story all the way? And how much will these 5 colonies make in profit terms at the end of these 6 months?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Jude. Every business has its own risks, okay? For the risks, one of the major risks of grass cutter farming is lack of enough knowledge in managing these animals, okay? Without enough knowledge in managing the animals, a lot of mistakes will be made. 2, the second risk in terms of breeding grass cutters has to do with the medication, okay? Let's say somebody wants to, the grass cutters get ill. A lot of people will prefer to use conventional methods to take care of these grass cutters, but no, grass cutters can be taken care of using organic methods like charcoal when they're having diarrhea, like moringa. You know, a lot of organic things around us can be used to take care of these animals. Another this risk is it comes when you go through inappropriate housing. Now, a lot of people will house their grass cutters inappropriately. When I started, I housed my grass cutters with wooden cages. The floor was wood, and the grass cutters continuously ate up that wood. And when they ate up that wood, they would go to the second level and maybe start fighting with a male, because 2 sexually matured males cannot stay together. But they will go there and start fighting. Maybe before I come back, this animal is dead. One would have killed each other. Okay, so that's the risk. Some of the risks contained to breeding grass cutters. Now, for the 5 colonies, let's assume that we bought 5 colonies. A colony of grass cutter can breed between 1 to 15 children. So let's take a benchmark of say 5. Okay, let's say these 5 colonies. 5 colonies would be 5 colonies should be 5 times
5.
No, a colony is 1 male and 4 females, sir. So it's going to be 4 times 5. That's okay. 20 females.
Yeah.
Okay. So 20 females. Let's say they give birth to 5 animals. That's 100 grass cutlets in a year. So we are assuming that in the first year, the grass cutters will litter once. So let's say they give birth to 5 each. That's 100 animals. Now let's say we decide to sell these 100 animals as table-sized grass cutters, and we'll build them at say 10,000 naira for one. That's 1 million naira from these 5 colonies. And remember, in the second year, they're going to litter 2 times. So that's basically from selling them as table size. Let's assume that we want to sell them as breeding stocks. Okay, let's assume we want to sell them as breeding stocks. For breeding stocks, let's say we sell them 100,000 naira for 1 colony. 100,000 naira for 1 colony, and we decide to sell 5 colonies. That's 100 animals. Okay, let's say 100 animals divided by 5. 100 divided by 5, that should give us 20 animals. So let's 20 colonies. Let's say 100,000 times 20. That's 2 million naira if you are selling to breeders. So this is just how you can make profit from selling either to breeders or to consumers.
And it takes about 1 year to achieve this?
Yes, it does, sir.
Right. The training you put together, I suppose that you will also be teaching people on the medication and the health issues.
Of course.
Or would they require a veterinary doctor to guide them through the process?
In the training I organize, it's a comprehensive training that takes care of the breeding, the handling, the selling, the medications. Virtually every aspect of grass cutter farming is covered. But still, you need to make a vet your friend. No matter what it takes, you should have a vet as a friend. Okay? Yes, that's what you do. You have a vet as a friend.
Right. Okay. Thank you. I think that's clear enough.
Okay.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay.
Thank you for
okay, that's fine. I think what you have said in essence, Chinedu, is that you need different skills to make this work. And some of them you can have yourself, but you also can bring in others. So which gives credence to the point we're trying to make, that you need a teamwork most of the time to succeed in some of these things. And sometimes we struggle alone to do everything, and in the process, we don't do well. So that's the essence of the One Kindred, One Business initiative, where we join our talents together to create the world we want to see. And Chinedu, thanks for teaching us how to be a millionaire within 12 months. So if you're joining this program, it is the One Kindred, One Business initiative, organized by the Office of the Chief Economic Advisor to the Imo State government. And we're exploring opportunities and how to help our people create joint projects, joint businesses that would leave no one behind. So let me move over to Father Charles Ojiako, who is a veteran in the space in terms of animal rearing, to share his experience with us, as well as what he thinks about this idea of One Kindred, One Business. Father, over to you.
Thank you very much, Prince. I'm so happy to be here today. And the monkey said, every day is college. But in there was school. We learn every day. What really attracted me to the OKOBI system is after I spoke with Prof. I've known Prof since 1991. Our friendship has gone a long time. In fact, the incubator I use now, he paid for it from London. And I'm full of gratitude to him. I produce so many turkeys every day, turkeys. The incubator I use today for hatching turkeys daily was paid for by Professor Amechi. I've known him since 1991. I want the whole world to thank him for me. I can't thank him enough. It was bought from China, he paid for it, and so on. And it is serving me today like mad. I turn out poults, young turkeys daily, foreign turkeys. My God, you need to see them. All thanks to Prof. I owe you so much. I happen to have been the Imo State Pilgrims Welfare Board for 4 years under Article 1, during which time I traveled to Israel about 8 times. Each time I landed in Israel, I would ask the chairman there to take me to their agricultural places. They would take me to where they train or rear turkeys. I would land there. They would take me to where they rear ostriches, where they rear fowls, where they rear all animals. And each time while coming back, I would come back with foreign eggs, which I would hatch here. I used to give lectures to Nepad, Port Harcourt Road. Imo State used to get about 3 people from each state, each local government, and I would give them seminar for 2 days. About 3 months ago, I gave a seminar in Uli. We had 260 graduates. And after the seminar, they were really given some soft loans. We took them in agriculture, mainly piggery, grass cutter, honey or beekeeping, snailery, fishery, rabbitry, and allied other things. They were taught mushroom, but I didn't do that. Another person taught mushroom. In fact, the mushroom I eat today and constantly is being produced by 2 ladies who attended the lecture. So when Prof told me about this OKOBI, my interest rose. I told him, look, in Israel, they have what they call kibbutz. K-O-U-I-B-B-U-T-Z, kibbutz. Kibbutz, if you bring it back to our home here, would mean something like a cooperative. When we went to Israel, as I did several times, we would go to eat in a kibbutz. A kibbutz has hotels. A kibbutz has an office. A kibbutz has supermarkets. A kibbutz has kindergarten, elementary school, has everything. And they are very well run. They have accountants, they have cashiers, they have everything they need. And these things run very well, and the government encourages them. The government might not be the same here in Nigeria, but we might copy some good aspects of the kibbutz. Namely, one village with another village. In the olden days, our parents or forefathers used to trade by barter. Barter is, I have yam, you have groundnut, we exchange. I have banana, you have orange, we exchange. That's barter. The modern man has come now with money. We can still do a little bit of bartering or barter. What do I mean by that? Village A has plenty of oranges. Village B has plenty of okra, breadfruit, What do? We exchange. The third village has plenty of coconut. We exchange. So each village brings what they have to contribute, and another village brings what they have, and life moves. And we have our graduates roaming the streets, and they say there is no work. Government should not give you work. Nigeria has 200 million. How can government provide work for 200 million? No. You find the work yourself. Your parents have trained you in education 5 years in the university. You come out and feed them, not by folding your feet or doing Yahoo. There's so much work. There's so much work. People go and buy day-old chicks, feed them for 2 weeks and sell them. And they make plenty of money. People buy goats and sell them and they make money. But our new generation have refused or has refused to work. And that is the problem. So by this OKOBI now, one kindred bringing out one stuff, another kindred bringing out another stuff is very good. My brother just talked about grass cutter. I talked about grass cutter in my seminar in what do you call it, in Uli last 2 months. So many of the people who came for that seminar have now started on their own: poultry, fishery, mushroom, and so on. So to summarize what I have to say here for now, if we begin this OKOBI, we identify the villages that are interested. Village 1, what can you produce? And they say it is mangoes. Village B, what can you afford? They say it is okra. Village C, what can you afford? They say it is arrow. We are moving. So we have a meeting. Village B, you produce this. Village A, you produce this. When we amass all these things now, we exchange them, trade goes. And this also becomes a cooperative, which is also in the Israeli kibbutz. Kibbutz can be seen in many ways. When we grow in this kibbutz, now they can even have their own schools. Kindergarten is possible. They can have places where they sell cement. They can have supermarkets. They can have warehouses. They can have stores where they sell OKOBI, point and kill. There is so much to be done. I don't want to flog the topic because others have to speak. This is just my elementary introduction to the topic and my own contribution to the OKOBI. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you, Father. I think your mention of the kibbutz in Israel is a very interesting one, because what we are pioneering here is not completely new in that sense, but it also fits into our communal spirit. We can remember back in the days when we had communities sponsor their people to study abroad. We also have instances where communities came together to sponsor their local projects. It could be electricity, it could be roads or whatever. So we want to go back and tap into that momentum, that interest there in the Igbo community, and use that positively to create communal businesses, so to speak. But this is not charity. We are talking about serious business. And that's why we are looking at the opportunities and how these opportunities can create the incentives for us to work together. So let me bring Mrs. Jovita Agu, who is leading this from the Office of the Chief Economic Advisor, to tell us what the office is doing and the plans we have to make sure we grow this idea as the days go by.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Okay, from the Office of the Chief Economic Advisor, we have tried to promote this OKOBI as much as possible. Interestingly, we have had a very significant interest from the public. We receive calls every day. People call us to find out what OKOBI is about. And we've had to, talk to them about it and the process they have to go through. And of course, like a Prof has said, in trying to be a part of this OKOBI, part of the requirement is that it has to be a business and it has to be profitable. It has to be run as a proper business. It has to be profitable. And it has to be domiciled here in Imo State. You could be an Imo indigene living anywhere else, but we want the business to be here so that it can also provide employment for our people, which is a part of the main reason why this is very important to us. So from the office, with the panelists we have here, they've all agreed and accepted to be consultants. And what I mean by that is these people are going to increasingly talk to interested kindreds or communities that want to take advantage of this initiative, to groom them, to walk through the process with them, and also, give them training and support them in any way to make sure that this business stands. As it is now, we have a couple of businesses that are undergoing registration. We also have a few that have taken off, and we have the cooperative in the government where they will do the registration so that they will have their bylaws, open bank accounts and, follow all the processes. So these are some of the things we're doing here, and we encourage anybody to just call us. Our contact details are on the flyer, or you can call me on my direct line 0703 4020 766, 0703 4020 766, so that we can get started. So we have quite a lot of interesting business ideas. We're not going to ask you to do a particular business. You have to look at yourself, your community, what exactly you think would work for you. Because if we talk about a community in Oru East, for instance, and another one in Owerri West, so they could have different businesses that will be appealing or that will do well. So, and businesses here, we are not talking agriculture alone. It's not limited to agriculture. You might imagine our set of panelists today are talking agriculture. This is just what it is. They are just varied. So many things. We even have businesses where you can invest in and then get returns. So if you don't have the energy or you cannot organize yourselves well enough to, to set up your own factory or your business, you can even invest in an existing business where you get returns. So we actually have a lot of opportunities, a lot of ideas that we can share with you, so you can think of the particular one that would work well with you. So this is part of what we're doing, and then just get in touch so that we can take the conversation further. Thank you.
Okay. What sort of questions do people normally ask about this? Because when they approach you, they come with some expectations, right? So what do they normally ask you about?
Oh, well, they ask a lot of questions. Some of them will ask whether we're giving free money, we're opening businesses for people. That's the major question that comes all the time. But no, we are not doing that. So let me make it very clear. Like if you've been following this conversation from the beginning, you understand that it's an initiative of kindreds or communities. So you come together, raise the money, and try to, set up a business for yourselves. So we give you services that you can't quantify in terms of money. So when we give you consulting, we give you training, that's a whole lot. So that is what we're offering you. We don't have that naira to say, oh, take this amount of money to set up this business. It will be our delight or our pleasure to do that if we are able to. But we have the corporate bodies that we are dealing with. So those people, we are also talking to them about supporting us so that we can even provide these consultancy services. And if, for instance, if Dangote says tomorrow, oh, I'm going to support you, or maybe with 1 billion naira, for this OKOBI, then that would be nice. I'm sure we'll use it to reach out to other people, maybe set up businesses. But for now, as it is, we are not doing that. So people are going to be the ones to raise the funds themselves and start up this business. Some people also ask the reason, or some people also want to ask us to come to their communities. So we are ready and available to talk to communities and make presentations to them so that they can ask all the questions they have to ask, and we give them all the responses as we walk them through the entire process. It will also be interesting to say that the plan we have for this, this wonderful initiative is that by September, October this year, we would have set up 200 companies. So people that are maybe sitting on the fence or that are not so sure of what to do and when to start, now is the time to jump in, so that before September, October this year, you'd be among those that will start. So some people have started, but we want to have registered 200 businesses functioning by this time of, September, October this year. So that's the plan from the office.
Okay, I know also that some opportunities are beginning to come up, even some corporates are beginning to reach out. Do you want to share some of those opportunities so people know, the kind of things that they might even go into? Sometimes the demand can come from outside, but they can also generate the demand internally.
Oh, yes. So I can readily say that Dangote, for instance, we've reached out to them because the idea from the office also, we try to reach out to corporates and make it easy for the communities to have off-takers. By off-takers, I mean, to sell their products. So like Chinedu has talked about this grass cutting business and how wonderful it is. But if you set up this business and you have, or maybe you have your fish mature, if you want to go into fishery or your poultry, it's also important that you have market to sell this product. So part of the service we're offering is to talk to people to find out people that will, buy these products from you. So Dangote, for instance, we're talking to them about the palm kernel because it's one big area that probably people tend to overlook. So we understand that they need this palm kernel shells in very large quantity. So we've reached out to them and they said, yes, we're ready, but I need you people to come back to us to tell us what quantity you can sell to us so that we can deal with you as one. So talking about probably 2, 3, 4, 5 different kindreds who want to focus on that palm kernel shell business, coming together, giving us an idea of the volume they can deliver to Dangote. Then we sit down with Dangote and tell them that this is the amount that we can deliver to you over this period. And then that way we can, tight all the loose ends, fine tune it and present to them, and then we'll take it up from there.
Okay, and somebody is asking if you can repeat the phone number, your phone number.
Oh, okay. So we
actually, slower.
Okay, fine. If you've seen the flyer, you see a phone number there. You also see an email address. You can go to Facebook and drop a comment and we'll respond to you immediately. But my phone number again, 0703 4020 766. 0703 4020 766. I hope that's slow enough.
Yeah, thank you very much. So let me bring Dr. Jude Nzako, given that also he is in charge of the Imo State Investment Promotion Agency. If you have some thoughts on how we can also support some of these local businesses as they.
Okay, so.
Thank you, Prof. I think right there is quite an exciting project, which I think will touch the lives of so many people in local areas of Imo State. As an agency of the government, we do reach out to businesses, and supporting this particular project is one that we have a lot of capacity, a lot of provision already in place. For instance, I know some of the communities may be struggling to raise money to go into certain projects. But as an agency, we have established some relationship with some financial institutions where we can make recommendations to some small businesses or individuals in communities to raise a small amount of money to enable them start business. But of course, like Prof said earlier on, it's not going to be a handout. There is some notion out there in the public space that once an arm of government is promoting an economic project, the public tend to believe that there's going to be a handout. There's not going to be a freebie here. If we support you in getting you money to run this project, it's not free. The banks will control how you use that money and ensure that you repay the money. Going forward, I think, Prof, we can support this project in the office by also making provision for proper feasibility studies, kindred by kindred. And of course, that will depend on the information you receive from kindreds and expression of interest. Because one thing is to desire to open a business in one sort of business in a community. Another thing is to ensure that that business is feasible. And even when it is feasible, we have to also ensure that it is bankable. And that is what the Imo State Investment Promotion Agency can do here to support that making sure that there's a proper feasibility studies that will be a simple one. It will be a baseline one to ensure that those going into the business have proper documentation, an idea whether or not there's a good business to go into, as well as making sure that it is bankable. If it's bankable, then the banks will be interested, and that to some extent guarantees that there's going to be a profit in that business. So we're on this with you, Prof.
Okay, great. So before I bring in Dr. Oke Anukwem, the Honorable Commissioner for Special Duties. So Dr. Jude, if somebody wants to access your facilities or support, how should they go about it? Do they need to come to you directly? And if so, where can they find you? Or can they come through us, or both? So, yeah.
The Imo State Investment Promotion Agency, of course, if anybody interested in the services we offer, can locate us on ecpa.am.gov.ng. And also our address, we are located right in the heart of New Owerri, Joko Convention Center. If you come into Owerri, that's for Joko Convention Center. When you come in there, ISIPA staff, they're ready to meet you. As well, also, if you have access to the office of the Chief Economic Advisor of the state, I'm sure Davida is there, he's got access to us. So if you contact the Office of Chief Economic Advisor, then you have reached us. So, Prof, we are there. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on anywhere, on Google, wherever you go.
Okay, great. So thank you. If you're just joining us, this is the One Kindred, One Business Initiative series brought to you by the Office of the Chief Economic Advisor. And today we're exploring the opportunities that different kindreds in Imo State can tap into. I know there's somebody on our Facebook who is a bit skeptical about the role of small businesses in developing the economy. I think what I want to assure that person that if you look around the world, the major economies of this world, the USA or the economies of Europe, you find out that these economies are supported by at least 70% of SMEs in terms of the jobs they create. So let us not undermine or underplay or underemphasize the role of small businesses. They may look small, but at the end of the day, we need jobs. The big companies, say for example, even if you use Imo State as an example or any other state, you find out that to solve our unemployment problems, you may need about 100 companies employing about 15,000 people. And that is not possible in the shortest possible time. And that's where small businesses come in. And that's where also this One Kindred, One Business initiative comes in. So as much as we may want to remain skeptical, but it's also good to be optimistic, knowing that we can work together. Of course, there could be challenges in terms of different communities coming together to do business. We are not unaware of those challenges. But what we are saying is that irrespective of the challenges, we can also choose to see the glass as half full and remain optimistic, knowing that that optimism can take us far. So let me bring in Dr. Oke Anukwem at this point, the Honorable Commissioner for Special Duties.
I want to thank you for this great ideology. I think it's very phenomenal because a lot of things have been taken for granted in Africa, in Nigeria, in even our state, Imo State, where creative arts have been downplayed in a whole lot of things, forgetting that these are areas that foreigners make a lot of money from. I want to say this, creativity remains the key of every economy. I don't think there's any economy that can survive without creativity. But let me bring it down to creative arts, which I know that OKOBI, which you are pioneering, has a lot of content in creative arts in Imo State. you find out that every community, every omona, every space we have in our various local governments, that we have different concepts and different ways of reflecting our culture and our tradition through dancing, through arts, artworks, textiles, through a lot of things that border on creativity. But these things have been downplayed. In other words, what stops us from also encouraging the local communities, from looking inwards and then having a platform where we can bring them to come and show what they have, and then we possibly choose some of them that we can start this project with. I'm saying this because we have a Ministry of Arts and Culture. We also have Ministry of Tourism. Recently, I traveled to Jordan on the sponsorship of His Excellency, Distinguished Senator Hope Uzodimma, on pilgrimage to Jordan and to Israel. My brother, if you see what these people have done with the history that comes from the Bible and how they have put the sites of miracles in place and built them in a way that they look antique. When you walk into any of the sites, you feel you are looking at a structure that was built 2,000 years ago. And then people are coming from all over the world to look at these sites because of the content and the artistic nature of these places. We can develop such things here. We have a lot of tourist attraction areas where we can display what we have and then put them in place in such a way that it can attract the attention of the world. And these things are embedded in our villages. They're embedded in our communities. And these communities have their history. They know what can attract people to their places. Again, many artists have never or have not been patronized adequately. In our localities, we have sculptors, we have textile artists, we have painters, we have sculptors. If you look at what is happening in Bini art, you find out that they have developed their own art and attracting people from all over the world to buy their art. Even in Igbo land, we have what we call akwete. These things are dying away because people are not taking them up. People are not taking them up. Akwete is a style of producing fabric that is so unique in Igbo land that can attract any attention. But you see, these things are done by individuals, struggling to see what they can make out of it. But I know if there's a better enabling environment, that these people can really come up with something that can enhance the economy of their area and the economy of the state. Therefore, I would want to say that the Ministry of Culture, Arts and Culture has a lot to do in this area. The Ministry of Tourism also has a lot to do in this area. We need to move and scoop out these things and make proposals, even to government, and get government interested. And we provide better enabling environment for these creative things to come in place. And sincerely, you will see what will happen in a couple of years to come. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. K. Anokwem. It's also good to mention that you are a fine artist and you do a lot of paintings yourself. And you also contributed to our forthcoming magazine, which is the Imo Economy Digest. And you looked at how rural economies can also benefit from their arts. And that magazine we published this month, so please look out for it. And we also encourage you to follow us on our socials, from our LinkedIn page to our Twitter handles. We are also on YouTube as well as Instagram, and we share this so that way we can keep in touch with what is happening. Let me bring in Dr. Jude Nzako again.
Yeah, thanks, Prof. Just wanted to add briefly to what OK was saying there. I recognize that artists they're businessmen. Naturally, they're businessmen. Whether you're a sculptor or you're a fine artist or whatever, you're a businessman. And it's unfortunate that in this part of our world, these artists do not take steps to promote their business. It's an economic activity. Yes, government will provide an enabling environment, but the artists themselves need to take steps to promote their business. I speak from what experience I've gathered in the short time that I've been with government. There is a law in this state that demands that all businesses, all persons engaged in any economic activity, register, bring themselves to the knowledge of an arm of the government, which is the Imo State Investment Promotion Agency. You must identify yourself as a business operating in Imo State. And as soon as you identify yourself, then we will begin to see how we can support you. We begin to see how we can promote you. But what I see in practice is that a lot of the businesses operating in Imo State, including some artists, they do not trust government. Even when you approach them, they are afraid of tax. They're afraid of coming forward to say, look, here I am, I'm doing business. They're afraid of, oh, if I identify myself with government tomorrow, they'll come after me for tax. No, tax is progressive activity. If you do not make profit, you're not going to pay tax. The government will not necessarily tax you because you're in business. The government will ask you to make a small contribution of the profit that you make. And of course, they would have supported you enormously before you make that profit. So artists, I know there are a lot of them in Imo State, and so many of them we can help. In addition to what the ministry and Dr. Anokwem can do, the agency of the government.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So can I invite Mr. Chukwuma Hajirogu to make a quick comment or question because we're running out of time now. You want to unmute yourself, sir, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It has been very electrifying, very wonderful being a part of this discussion. I live in Austria. I'm from Onimo. This discussion has activated so many ideas that have been going on in the minds of many Imolites that are in diaspora. What prompted me to speak was the contribution by Dr. Anokwem, the doctor that traveled to Jordan. He spoke of culture and our artifacts. The moment he said it, an idea came to me. The doctor that organized this from Dr. Kenneth Amechi, it baffles me that Igbolites are speaking. We are talking of our culture, and this wonderful and eliciting discussion is being done in a foreign language. This is where I have challenged, because as soon as I heard Dr. Anokwem speaking, he made a wonderful point, but I think a very important point that should contribute in the point he made was looking for a way to get this kind of discussion done in our language, so that when our society is developed like Jordan or Israel he traveled to, when people come to us, one of the things we are going to showcase to them should also be our language. This is the point I want to make. I'm very happy, I'm very grateful being a part of the discussion. And I hope to contact the lady that spoke before, that put her Facebook and other information, so that all of us will see how we contribute to the development of Imo State. Thank you.
Thank you, Chukwuma. And it's good to also know you're speaking from Austria, and that's brilliant. So the point you made about language is fantastic too. The only thing, we'll consider that, of course, and we have other ways of getting across to our people. But it's also about Imo State in the global society. So it's about the global IMO agenda. So we are interested in people who also want to do business with us. So we talked about Dangote, for example, and others. They also need to understand the language we are talking about. Yeah, but what we're trying to do is to aim global, but at the same time remain local, which is a point we made. I know time is not always our friend. Father Chasoja, could you want to say something in 30 seconds, and then Chinedu and Elua, maybe you want to unmute yourself, but we have to be very brief here because otherwise the radio stations will kick us out. So Charles, Father Charles, do you want to say?
Yeah, I was very happy hearing our friend talk about Israel. In fact, I'm almost an Israeli because I know every part of Israel. And I was very happy listening to him. What he just said was full of sense. Honestly, you go there and you learn. And what we learn, we can bring back home here. I want to thank you, Prof, for this project. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I thank everybody who has been here, who has contributed. God bless you. Let us look forward to having more of these sessions. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Chinedu, please.
Thank you, Prof, for this amazing discussion. It was a privilege being here. I know that OKOBI will succeed. I know that IMO will succeed. Just like you said, the idea is to aim global but remain local. It's all about our people, the IMOlites, and I know this is going to be an amazing program. Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you, my audience. Cheers.
Okay, thank you very much. And okay, fine. I mean, it's also good to, before we wrap up, there are also opportunities in renewable energy, for example. Think of a situation whereby a community or a kindred decides to power all the households in the local government through renewable energy. So it might be a collection of electricians who, instead of working for, looking at the opportunities at the moment, you can come together, look at renewable energy, and we have opportunities there, and we have companies who are also reaching out to us. And how you can power all the households, we will help you make that happen. There is also an opportunity for those who may want to go into finances, right? So you can create a pot of money that will be financing other opportunities. So that is also a form of a kindred business. So it doesn't have all to be about agriculture or arts. You can think about other things, even consultancy. So we want to thank you and encourage you to keep following us. This leaves me the opportunity to thank the panelists and my co-moderators, and also my office colleagues, Jovita, Agu, Adeza Shaheme, and Adeza Waka for putting this together. I will thank you all and I wish you a pleasant afternoon.